Hi girls, how are you?
Hi, fine, thank you. And you?
Hi, I'm Mexico. Who are you?
Hi, well, I am the United Nations Verification Mission in Colombia, and my friend here.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm MAPP, Misión de Apoyo al Proceso de Paz en Colombia from the Organization of American States, OAS.
But tell us, what are you doing here?
Oh, I would love to know what you do.
We will explain it to you.
In a fair way.
Nothing like Colombian coffee. Just like this brew, peace takes time, care, and the right blend of ingredients. And that's where we come in. Hi there, I'm OAS, the mission to support the peace process in Colombia, led by the Organization of American States. I was born in 2004, after a formal request by the Colombian government.
Señor presidente, nuestra presencia va a ayudar a proteger los derechos humanos en Colombia, como lo ha hecho la OEA en varias latitudes. Nos vamos a untar de barro para asegurarnos que así sea.
And my creation was solidified through agreement, later reinforced by Resolution 859 of the OAS Permanent Council. My legal foundation is strong. I operate under the OAS Charter, especially Article 2, which mandates the promotion of peace and democracy in the Americas, and the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations, which grants me diplomatic guarantees and neutrality. My original role was to accompany and verify the disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration of the paramilitary groups of the United Self-Defense Forces of Colombia, AUC, but I'm not one to stay static. Over time, I expanded to support transitional justice, monitor regional conflict dynamics, accompany victims, and provide technical assistance to both local and national institutions. I also became a critical presence in areas most affected by the armed conflict, places often forgotten by the central state. And then came the 2016 final peace agreement with the Fuerzas Armadas Revolucionarias de Colombia, Ejército del Pueblo, FARC-EP, that changed the game. I started accompanying implementation informally, and in 2024, through the ninth additional protocol, my mandate was officially expanded. Now I support all 6 points of the agreement, including rural reform, political participation, end of the conflict, solution to the drug problem, victims' rights, and implementation mechanisms. I work closely with state and non state actors to promote reconciliation, prevent conflict reactivation, and sustain community based peace building.
And I am the UNVMC, the United Nations Verification Mission in Colombia. I was created by the United Nations Security Council Resolution 2366 in 2017, after the joint request by the Colombian government and FARC-EP. My legal basis is rooted in Chapter 6 of the UN Charter and the peace agreement itself, especially Section 6.3.3, which mandates international verification of implementation. I started by verifying Section 3.2, the incorporation of former combatants into civilian life, and Section 3.4, focus on the guarantees of security for both former FARC members and communities.
The United Nations Verification Mission in Colombia provides valuable support to the peace process by verifying that key provisions of the 2016 peace agreement between the government and the former FARC guerrilla are implemented. For more than 13,000 men and women, former combatants who laid down their arms, the mission is a constant advocate for their reintegration into society in safety and with opportunities.
But the world moves fast, and so did my responsibilities. Resolution 2574 from 2021 added the duty of verifying restorative sentences under the Special Jurisdiction for Peace, HEP, and outlined in Section 5.1.2. In 2023, Resolution 2673 expanded my mandate to include Section 1, the Comprehensive Rural Reform, and Section 6.2, Ethnic Peoples' Rights and Participation. Later, that same year, Resolution 2694 gave me the role of verifying the bilateral ceasefire between the government and the National Liberation Army, the ELN.
And while your scope is driven by formal resolutions, mine is guided by flexibility and territorial relevance. I work in regions like Catatumbo, Chocó, Bajo Cauca, Nariño, and the Pacific Coast, where communities continue to live with the consequences of armed conflict. I support victims by monitoring access to justice and reparation. I document patterns of violence, identify emerging risks, and collaborate with institutions like the HEP, the Truth Commission, and the Unit for the Search of Disappeared Persons.
Acompañar a Colombia en sus esfuerzos de paz ha sido, es y será el compromiso de la MAPP OEA.
I have more than 100 international observers, over 380 civilian staff, and a geographic deployment that spans over 300 municipalities. I work through 22 local offices, 8 sub-regional hubs, and 9 regional headquarters. Gender parity is also a core value. Nearly 50% of my team are women. I prioritize transparency through quarterly reports to the UN Security Council, ensuring political visibility and continued support from international actors.
What I might lack in size, I make up in depth. My teams live and work in the territories. They build long term relationships with civil society, traditional authorities, victims' organizations, women's groups, and local governments. I use methodologies like participatory mapping, conflict analysis, and scenario based dialogue. I don't just report, I connect, interpret, and mediate.
And I verify. My role is to translate promises into measurable progress. I track productive projects for ex-combatants, monitor political guarantees, and follow up on ethnic and gender inclusion strategies. I work closely with CSIBI, the National Reincorporation Council, and the Commission for Security Guarantees. My observations support international donors and shape public discourse.
I also support institutional reform at the local level, from strengthening municipal peace councils to advising on human rights plans. I help communities make peace part of daily governance. I provided technical assistance for national legislation, shape victim participation mechanisms, and help design early warning systems in high risk areas.
But not everything is smooth. One of the gravest challenges is the killing of ex-combatants. Over 400 have been assassinated since 2016. Reintegration funding is irregular. Local implementation of national plans is slow, and the reconfiguration of illegal armed groups in former FARC areas adds complexity.
I see this firsthand. Communities are under pressure from new and existing illegal actors. Social leaders are being threatened. Entire families are displaced. In some cases, illegal groups impose their own rules, curfews, taxes, and punishments. My presence helps people feel seen. My alerts and recommendations have led to rapid responses by the state and at times averted greater tragedy.
We move forward. My mission sustains the credibility of the peace agreement. Without impartial verification, progress becomes invisible. My work keeps the state accountable and the world engaged.
And I make sure peace feels real. I support community radios, youth peace initiatives, and indigenous guard networks. I walk with people who don't need promises, but presence. My contribution is not always quantifiable, but it's transformational.
Together, we form a peace ecosystem. I offer oversight.
And I offer accompaniment.
I ensure compliance.
And I ensure belonging.
Colombia remains an inspiring example for the world that peace can be achieved through dialogue. Despite many challenges, the country is taking historic strides forward, in building peace after more than 6 decades of armed conflict.
Peace doesn't build itself, and while we are different, we are on the same team. 2 missions, 2 mandates, 2 legal frameworks, multiple resolutions 2366, 2574, 2673, 2694, CPINF.493404, Resolution 859, but one shared purpose: to ensure that peace in Colombia isn't just signed and shelved, but woven into daily life, just, inclusive, and lasting for all.